Right. Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of Thatcham Town Council Planning and Highways Committee, today being the 7th of April 2026. And this meeting is being recorded for publication on the Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel. So, turning to the agenda. First, apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies?
We have received apologies of absence from Mark Thomas.
Thank you. And do we have any declarations of interest? Councillor Pemberton.
Well, yeah, agenda item 7, Thatcham. There's a West Berkshire Council executive member, but I saw to sit in meetings where this is discussed.
I suppose I have to do the same then. But it's not pecuniary.
Yeah. Could I also ask you if you have an interest in relation to the first item of planning at number 4 as a parish councillor for Coldash?
You're quite right, actually. Yeah, I'm also original.
Thank you.
And I've sat in meetings where we.
Yeah, for the point, but so I thought as we're discussing Coldash Parish.
Thanks for the reminder. Yeah.
Just that mean and water. Not in the parish council. Marple district.
No, it's not. It's my ward and it's in the parish of Coldash. It's not north east, it's west. Yeah. It's where it is in West Thatcham.
Yeah. Just double getting some things. Thank you. So, moving on to the minutes, to take and confirm as accurate the minutes of the meeting, which you have in your pack, and you were sent them by email some time ago.
Yeah.
So, do we have any comments on those minutes? Looking at them studiously, and see no one wanting to make any comments. So can I propose from the chair that we confirm these minutes as accurate?
Yeah, seconded.
So I'll go for Councillor Watts.
Thank you. Definitely.
Those in favour of so approving? Thank you. Those minutes are approved. For the town clerk to provide members to request feedback on any matters.
I have not received anything.
Okay. Obviously, we're returning to the Panic Park development later in the agenda. So, moving on to the next item, item 4, planning applications. So we have the first one is 25-00278, which means it's been in progress for more than a year. For the full planning application for 229 dwellings, and this is so we considered it. Well, we received an update from West Berkshire Council after the agenda of our last meeting, but because we had the information, we sent what was effectively a holding response, maintaining our objection without giving the details. So I have written a proposed detailed response, which you have on paper, and I circulated it this morning. So just to give a bit of background here, as this application that there were, it was submitted last year. We made comments, fairly detailed comments at that point. There was a previous application in 2023, which was withdrawn, and we made comments on it there. We also commented on this site in the context of the local plan. So we said quite a lot already, and therefore most of what is here is covering issues that we've already discussed and having the same basic conclusions, but updating for the information that is presently available for us. And just to let you know, there's been another batch of documentation since our last meeting, some of which I refer to here. And when I last looked, the total number of documents associated with this planning application was 443. Thankfully, most of them are things like detailed drawing of garages, which we don't need to consider. I would suggest that we don't need to consider them as this is a neighbouring parish. And therefore, in my comments, I've focused on the aspects of the development that have an impact on Thatcham and its residents. So, we've got the link down the screen. How much information do people want to see before we proceed? You saw it last month, I think, and so there's a whole load of stuff there. The comments that I refer to, they're quite detailed comments, so it's probably not best to go through them in detail. There's quite a lengthy set of comments from the highways officer, which is in the form of an email, which is a bit difficult to read. It appears twice, I think, once as an email and once as a bottom document at the top there, which is 25th of March, obviously after our last meeting. There's also a comment from the drainage officer basically saying that he is waiting for further information before he can reach a view. So, and then you have all of the usual commenters there, some of which are not particularly material to us. So, if you're happy with, you know about the outline of the application, we can go back to documents if we need them in the context of my comments. So if I go through the points in order, the first one is the country park. This site, like North East Thatcham, the upper part of the site is proposed to be. It's called a landscape buffer in the local plan, but it's described in the application as a country park. There are a number of accesses to it, but they're at the ends of cul-de-sacs within the site. And I think particularly if, as we would like this to be a country park for residents of Thatcham, as well as the Coldash, we prefer that there was a bit better access rather than going up the end of a residential cul-de-sac, possibly, in fact, even onto the private shared driveways. It looks from the plan. So that's addressing that point. The first one is addressing that point. And also, we have previously suggested that they might like to try to find another point of access coming down beside the flood attenuation basin north of Bowling Green Road, which will give a better access directly into the site. That, of course, is subject to agreement of West Berkshire Council, but that might be feasible. Then, secondly, on the flood risk, some time ago, Coldash Parish Council flood warden sent detailed comments where he gave observed evidence of flooding caused by water emerging on the site. This is rather dismissed in the drainage report, who just quotes a document from a high level, quotes an extract from a high level West Berkshire Council document, which is not intended to be read in that level of detail because the analysis underlying that doesn't cover the detailed points of the site. So I've gone in some detail there on the geological background, which I can explain in more detail, but basically to explain why it is reasonable to suspect that there might be surface flooding caused by springs, temporary springs, not least because there is a permanent spring on the site, which is the source of the water course, but that is the subject of the flood risk. The new one is traffic. This is in response to the highways officer, who believes that the extra traffic from this site would cause congestion, particularly at the roundabout at the bottom of Coldash Hill. And he discusses a number of options for addressing this. This, of course, is particular interest to Coldash Parish. Yeah. He dismisses traffic lights because they would increase congestion. I think he said 1.2 kilometres of tailback worst case was his comment. And they're also converting it to a full-size roundabout, not a mini, with another access onto the estate. That, of course, would change the layout of the estate. He also says that this can't be considered in isolation because what is done there will have an impact, a further impact when North East Thatcham is developed. And he is worried about putting in something which encourages more traffic to go up Coldash Hill. So the traffic on Coldash Hill is probably more concern for Coldash Parish Council, but I do comment that the site has to be considered holistically. The solution has to be considered holistically, which is his suggestion as well. Councillor Pemberton.
Yeah, so I guess just at the start of the meeting, Councillor McCann and I were talking about whose ward is adjacent. I think I may have overlooked the point that actually one of the potential access points from Heath Lane is in the Thatcham North East ward, isn't it? Even if it's within the parish of Coldash. So I'm assuming that's the point that you're making. Yeah, I think it's Floral Way, and the roundabout at the bottom of Coldash, I think, is in
just about. Yeah, the site is not, but the site is that particular roundabout. I think is in North East Thatcham ward.
Am I right in assuming then that that's the pressure point at which the highways officer expressed concern about traffic? Around about there.
He said that was
About by Northfield Road.
He said that was the worst one.
That was the worst one.
He comments on them, but that is that he thought was the limiting case. Partly because you've got traffic going a distance, forking out at that roundabout, and he's also contemplating this extra entrance into the estate. The Thames Valley Police designing out crime officer put in detailed responses, raising a number of concerns about the detailed layout of the site, and the Berkshire, Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Integrated Care Board expressed concern about the capacity of the existing primary healthcare facilities in Thatcham, and they were assuming that they would be registered with Thatcham, not what's the one for Bucklebury? It's East of Bucklebury. And they're asking for a Section 106 contribution, which I suggest that we support. And finally, there was a comment as an aside in the traffic officer's report about a bus gate from the estate into Cold Ash Hill, which he didn't like. But it raised in my mind, why would you want buses going there anyway? I know why the estate would want it, but it actually would be a major increase in route length or a detour away from the existing route in order to do so, which would disadvantage Thatcham residents. So I don't know where he got that idea from. I have a feeling I've seen it sometime in the distant past as an option. But anyway, I've commented on that, but we don't like that idea. And in any case, it might have been based on the bus service, the regular bus service which passed through Cold Ash at the time of the initial application, which has been replaced by on-demand service. So, those are the 5 points that I suggested we comment on. Do those points raise anything that you would like to see from the documentation for the application? Councillor Pemberton.
No, they don't raise any specific questions relating to the documentation. It's not a new point, which I've raised it before. So the proposed access point around the side of the attenuation basin, I think would pop out somewhere around Conway Drive.
Yes.
Bowling Green Road,
yes.
Sort of blind bend.
Yes.
We've mentioned this before, and I don't know if we want to add it to the list of objections, but it's certainly something that I'm concerned about.
Right.
Because the stretch of road is pretty notorious for accidents and speeding. I think if somebody was to pick a point, which was the worst point to have an access road in and out of an estate like this, they'd be there. And it's the point that they've chosen. So I'm not particularly happy about it.
So I think it wasn't mentioned about the highways officer in this note. I think in the past the highways officer has said that it complies with guidance. That doesn't
with guidance. Access points for blind bend.
Nobody's died there yet.
Well, no, the point is you. So what I'd suggest then is if you give me authority to possibly either search through past representations or to create something to add to address that point, and I'll need to check with what the highways officer said most recently in order to make, if he has mentioned to reference it.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
So if you're happy for me to do that offline to draft the wording for that point.
Yep.
And then with that addition, any further questions or comments? To nobody. So I will propose, as I'm the author, to propose from the chair that we agree to send this representation with that addition to West Berkshire Council, seconded by Councillor Pemberton. Those in favour of so doing? Thank you very much, and that is unanimous. Stepping down a bit in scale, we have it's now three dwellings, so it's not insignificant. Entry Court, Turners Drive. So do you have? Oh, it's that one of those, is it?
Yeah.
Do you have
just having to put them all in again.
Do you have a Google Street View of it?
There. So this is Turners Drive, and then at the very end there is a block of garages just along here.
Yeah, the Turners Drive. Oh, the business
Thatcham House.
I thought it was, yeah, yes, it's
Come in and it goes off to the left
Left,
into
yeah,
Thatcham
yeah.
House, it's straight up, yeah.
straight on, okay, yes.
Yeah, so it's
Right.
here.
Okay.
Then do you want to see the current and the proposed?
We'll see that the site, the proposed site plan would probably give it a hand.
Yeah.
Large buildings.
October. I think we've seen this one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen this,
Yeah,
we've seen something very similar before.
Yeah.
So it's where Turner's Drive comes up
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
and then at the moment, this is where a garage block is. Yeah.
So we have seen a previous application for this site. I recall, as soon as I see that plan.
So I've got the previous reference number here in front of me on the council's website. It's an area of 7 detached dwellings.
Okay,
Oh, now we're doing three.
okay.
So
Now
is
three
this-
terrace.
Is this an addition or a replacement?
It must be a replacement because you couldn't fit anything more in it.
So they've got permission for the two, but they don't want to do that now, they just want to do.
They want to do three.
That's the,
Yeah,
okay.
I think our concern previously was about using the car parking spaces.
Yeah.
Black, or I think was.
Yeah.
On those was, but yeah,
So they've now proposed 18 car parking spaces
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
Okay. With parking here for the three houses. The
yeah,
houses
Right.
face this way
mhm,
with the rear gardens.
Yeah.
right.
Parking's pretty diabolical around there sometimes.
it's a big block of flats.
It's three dwellings.
These from Thatcham House. We've got loads of hairdressers.
So,
Terrace.
So I think, okay. So this is a replacement scheme. Because the last one was a pair of 7 detached dwellings, i.e. 4, right?
was it, it was four dwellings in total, you're saying?
Yeah, is that right?
Okay, I can't remember.
Pairs, so it would have been 4,
Yeah.
and now they want to put 3 townhouses instead of the 4,
Mhm.
2.
But they joined rather than being semis.
We should probably suggest that West Berkshire Council might have been concerned about the parking.
They approved it.
Sorry,
They still approved it.
did they approve it? Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
it's approved.
okay. So,
I've got the reference number if you want it.
It should have related.
Well, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I found it.
Well, if we approve 4, it's difficult to not approve 3.
yeah,
Best parking.
any concerns about this? I'm just interested about the size of them. They look pretty compact, is the word I think is.
Small.
Or
Semi.
estate agents' terms are used correctly, deceptively spacious, which means it's smaller than it appears.
Yeah.
You know that the developers have that buy special furniture, which is like makes manufactured slightly undersized.
Yes.
Real size
To make the rooms look bigger. I'll bore you with a very brief story. I was working on a site 10, 12 years ago, and me and the missus thought, well, let's go buy one of them. It's just investment sort of stuff. So we go downstairs was good. We went upstairs and I went, there's something up right here, babe. She went, what? I think that was the ceiling. And the lady said, oh, you must be rather tall. She was that height. So we got a small salesperson in.
It was 2 dwellings. It was two dwellings previously.
Semi-detached, but it took up a lot more of the space.
Yeah. So it's the same.
So it wasn't 4, it wasn't 2.
No, it was just 2 semi-detached, but you can see that they've the 3 are quite a lot smaller than
But they did car parking for those, specifically for those houses.
Putting townhouses, there'll be over 3 floors.
Well, look at the
And one extra dwelling. So one extra dwelling.
can we see the plan? The
Less less garden space, because there's 4 properties.
So therefore, now
I don't think it was 4. I think it was 2.
It might be.
it was 2.
I think it was 2.
It was 2.
Well,
Semi-detached, without parking down the side. Now these 3.
I made it a 3, and by making the 3, they lose the garden and the footprint of the house, which gives them more car parking
you can
space,
sell it for
Right.
and it goes higher
Yeah.
for the same money. Sneaky, eh? That's good use of loft space, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's dead space. Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it isn't in my house, but that's a different story.
And you can't moan about the height because there's a block of flats next door to it.
Three-story
Yeah.
flats.
Yeah.
And Thatcham House is quite
So-
high.
Yeah, so,
A CGI view. So,
That's pretty cool.
oh, I think that's the
Yeah.
existing house at the end of that road.
yeah,
It does, actually.
from planning perspective, we're not deciding would we like to live there.
Exactly.
From planning perspective, does anyone have any concerns about that?
Well, I'd be interested to know what the outdoor amenity space looks like.
It said it had the plan had the areas.
Does that comply with, so if that complies to the relevant
Yeah.
guidance?
Yeah.
If it does.
It was, I think it had sufficient number of postage stamps, yes. So the smallest one there is 49 square metres.
I mean, they look pretty squeezed in. I mean, how big are the internal rooms as well?
Interesting.
Do they comply with guidance?
Interesting point there. The two far houses on the right have a shed and cycle store at the back. Without any access to get you have to take a bike through the house, apparently.
Are we happy with that or?
Do we want to comment on that?
I think we should.
So,
Yeah.
what I suggest is that we make no objection, but we make the comment that we do not understand how the housing dwellings number 2 and 3 would use their cycle store, because it appears from the plan that the only means of access is through the house.
Maybe that end one. When
It's tight. Anyway, yeah. But that's for the council to determine, but because I haven't got a tape measure out a ruler to measure that on the plan, but it does. I think you have to be right back with narrow handlebars. Yeah. So we've got that. So that my proposal is that we make no objection with the comment that we do not understand how the dwellings 2 and 3 would get their cycles from the store out to the road.
Do we want to clarify whether there's enough outdoor amenity
Well,
space?
49 square metres is.
Is that enough? I don't know.
I think it's
There's 49 square metres more than I've got.
yeah.
I was gonna
You live in-
say,
I'm thinking about the what's the road?
7.
The work out look at less than that.
Yeah, and the new development of what's the A4 opposite the parish hall called that road?
7's a 14.
April Street. I can remember that development behind
Yes.
demolition behind that had smaller than that.
Yes.
So
That's the previous amenity
yeah,
space.
well, yeah, that's
It's.
so. Can we? Yeah. So
Put 49.
and so yeah, and also subject to confirmation, and also we can add also subject to confirmation that the amenity space is adequate for the size of for the number.
It's on that.
How many bedrooms each?
Three in that.
3.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've done this.
They're big. It's still thing.
Yeah.
But you can't swing it, I know.
Yeah. So I propose that we make no objection subject to those two comments. Did we have a seconder for that? Thank you. Councillor Lunn. And so those in favour of not objecting. Thank you. So moving on to the third one, which is sort of a step down again in scale.
Many of years. So they previously applied for a structure, temporary structure for 5 years. And then now they wish to keep it. So this is the structure from the previous. The canopy. Yeah.
It's a whole drop lane, and I think this is probably beyond the railway line, isn't it? I suspect.
I don't remember what they were. Yeah, it just shows a hedge, unfortunately, when you look at it on here.
You've got to get it on the map. So
Yeah, where is it?
Stage
one. It's that one.
it's Avon Park Cross. Well, do you want to put the postcode in RG 19 4AJ?
But it's not right next to us. We're 19 and 8.
It's Shoreline Group. It's at the top there.
Electronic.
So it's right at the far end.
Actually on the
Close to the railway line.
Yeah.
Colthorpe
Park, isn't it? Kennedy, it called?
So it's already been there for 5 years, nearly 5 years. I'm intrigued as to why a company whose business is shipping boats, transporting boats, is based in Thatcham. So
Is it near the canal?
so anyway, that looks like a pretty. Is it that big canopy there? I think isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not too much out of scale with other warehousing around the area. Can I propose that we make no objection to that? Anyone got any concerns?
That's fine.
No.
Sorry,
No concerns.
well, Councillor Boyd is put his hand up first, so we take that to seconding. Those in favour of making no objection, that is also unanimous. Thank you very much. We then have 4, going down in scale again, 4 applications that we would not normally consider. Have there been any objections to any of them?
No. No.
So we will, unless someone here objects, we will pass on and not comment on those. So we then move to decision notices.
So none, they've all been granted. None were considered by this committee other than the Laurels, which are converting the existing integral garage into a private beauty treatment room. We considered, had no objections, noting that the business would need 2 parking spaces.
Yeah.
On their driveway for customers. So Roman Way, 20 Roman Way was a 2-storey side extension, which has been granted. 31 Kingsdown Road, a 1-storey extension, alterations granted. 7 Druce Way, 1-storey side extension granted. 81 Northfield Road, 1-storey extension to the rear is granted. 6 Beverley Close were asking if they would need planning approval, and so the other said approval not required. And Scrivens Mead is a 1-storey extension on the side, which is also granted.
Thank you. So we note those. That's Pemberton. Before we note those.
Yeah, I can't see any mention on there. The application for the part retrospective application for the change of use of the 29 Roman Way. That's recently been refused by West Berkshire Council.
Might have been off the deadline for the agenda.
Let me see, I've had.
Anyway, we can note that anyway. It's yeah.
This is the only one that's gone through since, which was a retrospective approval for on Crook and Common Road for change of outbuilding to become a dog grooming studio. That's all I've received since.
Yeah, may not receive the correspondence in time.
Yeah, it was issued on the 31st of March.
Yeah. So we'll see that. We'll see that next month.
All right. Good.
But we can, in passing, note that it was refused. Yeah. Received a large number of objections from late members. So we then move on the agenda to planning matters. Matters received arising since the publication of the agenda.
So the one that I've just saw we've received, which is a retrospective request for planning approval. To convert an outbuilding to a dog grooming studio, which is already in use. So this is Coombe Farm. And this is where they are proposing the barn is changed, and this is a drop off and pick up collection point.
Right.
Um,
I'll take a look at that because it's right on the boundary of the common, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, yeah,
this is where
Any of the common.
it is.
Dirty, what is it called?
Dirty dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Okay, so that one, that's just right.
Yes.
So
So
what
that
I
was
suggest is
true.
we'll look at it in detail at the next meeting, should we need to. Just to note that the Department for Communities, Housing and Local Government have been busy over the last week issuing various document guidance and instructions on relating to planning. One which might affect the application for Hennick Park is that they have instructed councils if they are proposing to refuse approval for a development of more than 150 houses, they have to inform the government. But it says that the Secretary of State. It is unclear when they say the Secretary of State whether they mean a civil servant or the planning inspectorate.
Oh, yeah.
But that is a change that was announced in the last few days over the Easter recess. North East Thatcham to receive an update, and you have an update in the document pack, which was also forwarded to you as an email on the North East Thatcham site, which is good news that they've now finally reached agreement with the North East Thatcham Partnership to proceed with the master plan, and particularly with the engagement of consultants. Local press, Penny Post, has observed that the timetable shows that the public engagement will take place in the month of April. Now, we're already a quarter of the way through the month of April, and they commented that if the engagement was to take place in April, we would have expected a notification of the events by now. So I have a feeling that the timetable might be starting to slip already, but we will have to wait and see. I don't think there is. The other key point here is yet another change of government policy affects us. That the local plan said that the master plan will be adopted by West Berkshire Council as a supplementary planning document. The government has decided to abolish the supplementary planning documents with effect from June, and therefore that is not, and they haven't given guidance on the alternative. So the West Berkshire Council has agreed with the developers that the master plan will be approved by the councillors of West Berkshire Council in the same way that a supplementary planning document would have been, and that would be a binding agreement in the same way, which is good news. And I think the other thing to note is it says that the sessions will aim to consult on a wide range of topics, including, and I think it's worth noting that there are some things which are not listed there, which are definitely not appropriate at the time of the master plan. Some of them because they've already effectively been determined by the inspector in approving the local plan, and others because they are matters that are dealt with when the planning application comes in. Councillor Pemberton.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. So I received an email just this afternoon about a workshop that's due to be held on Tuesday, the 21st of April, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, I don't know if I've received that email in my capacity as a Thatcham ward member. I don't know if I've received it in my capacity as an exec member. I'm not sure, because I don't know who else is on the distribution list. But it may be that something's happening on that.
Okay, that's good news. And we need to, of course, one of the other points to make is that there are a variety of different types of stakeholder.
Yes.
So if you could say there's a sort of general interest, stakeholders in the surrounding area who might be interested in the facilities and disadvantages. The residents who live within the area of the development or immediately adjacent to, of which there are about 50 properties who have a particular set of interests and probably more grounds to be specifically concerned, and certain stakeholders who are involved, particularly the Birdwood Surgery and Equinox Learning Trust, who have been specifically identified themselves as having an interest in some of the infrastructure provision. And probably it'd be worthwhile not trying to take them all in the same meeting, because the sort of detailed discussions that the stakeholders would want to have are not really what the public would be interested in, certainly not what the residents in the area would be concerned about. So we'll have to look at that, how that's done. But it's good news that at least something is moving, and if we haven't been informed, we will hopefully very shortly be informed. Okay, so that is that. Any questions? Yeah.
Could I ask through you, Chair, if you could clarify that, how you got that email? Because if the sparks need that date for a specific, it may be time.
And I haven't received it here yet.
Okay, so it's worth just to because we don't want you dropped off the list unnecessarily.
So I noticed that if you look at this document, they're using a reflector, which has a standard set of recipients. So the clerk did receive this email. So if they're using the same list, she should get any emails sent to the same group. This group is it's specifically interested parties. It's not any all comers. Do you happen to know where the meeting that they announced the venue for the meeting?
Yeah, it's sort of Thatcham Parish Hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what I'll do is I'll chase up with the officers.
Yeah.
And I'll find out why I've been sent it. And if they've got a list of other meetings and stakeholder events that they've planned or are looking to plan.
I thought I'd have got that. So,
it was only sent 5 to 5, so you might.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, we will await further news with interest, but I think that's all we can do at the moment. I don't think there's any action at this point necessary from the council's perspective, but obviously we will expect to be informed when we receive the officers receive information. So moving on to the last item on the agenda: traffic management, highway and road safety matters.
We have received another notification from West Berkshire Council that on Sunday the 12th of April, the A4 will be closed again at the Flora Way, Falmouth Way junctions. During their recent works, they have found that underlying highway requires additional material, something previously unknown and unforeseen. So it will be closed again for one more Sunday on the 12th of April.
Just to hope
you're the residents look forward to it.
I hope there's no accidents on the M4.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, thank you very much. So if there's no further business, I will then close the meeting. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the case